Hi guys, a huge welcome to the Soulfest 2021 Art Festival. This is day one, full of dance. My name is Jason Yap, and a huge welcome to the Multiplicity Story dance workshop with me. Now what we're going to do today is incredibly different because it's going to be a hybrid dance session where what we're watching right now is a pre-recorded session, and I will meet you probably 10 minutes later on the actual Zoom call where we will be continuing our task for today. Now the reason why I call it the Multiplicity Story is very simple. It's about challenging your mindset, your body in multiple ways, in diverse ways, and really trying to stretch your imagination or your consciousness. And the word that I always want to use for today and also my approach to dance is modes of attention. So once again, think about that, modes of attention, and what we're going to do is to think of a story. Yeah, think of a story that's really fascinating to you, and I'll explain to you as to why when we start this session in a very short bit. So the first thing we are going to do today is just relax. Yeah, and don't worry, we will be doing this step by step. So I just wanted to start with a very simple, just relaxation of the body, in order to prepare you for what's to come next. So just relax your knees, and I want you to focus mostly on your joints. Yeah. So if you think about the joints within your body, they're mostly ankle joints, your knee joints, your hip joints, your shoulder joints, your wrist, and also your neck. So all these movements are focused around these regions. And just really feel them. You can do it at any extent. You can do it bigger, smaller, but really what you're trying to do is kind of like flow through them a little bit, just kind of relax a little bit, yeah? Now, why do I call it modes of attention? Because I want your attention right now. I mean, what I'm about to tell you is a little story of mine, yeah? So, as soon as I started, actually even before I came to the company right now in Slovakia, I noticed that I was doing something quite often because I was multitasking quite a lot in my journey as an artist. I was working on multiple projects, and I would come into class every morning, not every, but most of the time, having sort of a lot of things to do after the class. So that would really kind of preoccupy me. And what I found myself doing a lot was I was zoning out quite often. And I know I shouldn't be doing that because, it's like a mantra for dance, right? You have to be present and all that. But what I did was I started to study that experience a little bit deeper, and I soon found out that I could do equally well in a class when I was just zoning out but on autopilot. Now what I was actually trying to do was to challenge myself if I could train my body to move and to fulfill a certain assignment, even if my mind was not all the time, but intermittently, occasionally kind of zoning in and out of that setting. And what would happen was I was thinking of many things, maybe a coffee, maybe my projects, maybe my family, whatever, yeah? And I just wanted to make sure that that was not wrong, that it was not sinful to do so. I wouldn't tell my teacher that I was doing that. I wouldn't tell anyone. It was just more of an introspective process. So do the same thing right now. As I was talking to you already about the story, now is your turn to really kind of actively create some kind of story. And as you can see, the whole time that I'm speaking, I am still moving my joints. I am still really relaxing. But now, as you're creating your story, as I'm guiding you through this little process, what I want you to do is to cancel out all these different movements that you're doing right now and just kind of come to a little halt, little stop. And let's focus on just one, maybe two joints, yeah? So let's go with one joint. I'm going to start moving my right wrist. You can choose any joint that you want. And as I move my right wrist, I'm also slowly oiling, slowly mobilizing the opposite end of this particular joint. So that would be my left ankle, let's say. Yeah, it can be your left shoulder as well. So try to find an opposition. And as I'm doing this, and I'm speaking to you right now. I hope you're already sort of developing some kind of story, or you're just using what you see around you, maybe. Yeah? Think about coffee, think about your cat, dog, think about your parents, think about the trees outside, doesn't matter. But as much as you're listening to me, I also want you to actively think of these things, because we're trying to simulate a zoning out process. That is basically what we're trying to do, yeah? And don't be afraid of that, because ultimately what I want you to do is to take advantage of that. Really utilize those experiences. Now, as I'm still moving my wrist and my ankles, I'm going to increase the intensity to both of them. And I'm going to use just coffee as an example. So I was thinking about coffee as I come in to the session, and what I'm going to do is to really imagine what coffee is for you. So this is the first level of this workshop. We're just going to use the most basic characteristic of a coffee, let's say coffee bean, and for me it's like bitter, right? You smell it, it's a bit like bitter. And whatever way you want to interpret that, that is what it is for me. I'm not sure what your story is over there, but just use what you have in mind, right? So use the experience, the image, the memory, whatever you have in your mind, and try to imbue your movement with that kind of sensation. So for me, it's coffee. And I'm really trying to use that thing to mobilize my wrist and my ankle. Now, some funny way, I can almost smell that coffee bean. It's strange, but I can. And that's not the point. The point is I'm still kind of moving, and I know where I'm going with this, yeah? Suddenly I already feel that because I've been moving so long as I'm speaking, the intensity has actually grown a little bit. My knees are also moving right now. So you see, you get the point, yeah? It's really finding ways to go into autopilot in a way that your body is kind of moving, but at the same time you have different sensations that you can also tap on. So this is basically it. Let's come to a close. Let's slow down the movement and now minimize the intensity. And what I want you to latch on before I go is that one image once again. For me, it's coffee. For you, I don't know. Now hold on to that movement, hold on to that sensation, hold on to that image. We're going to continue in the later session where I'll see you live. And just to give you a little heads up, we're just going to intensify every single thing that we have experienced in this particular half of the session. So, hey, thank you once again, and I'll see you very, very shortly after.